Long ago, when the mesas were taller and the rivers still remembered the footsteps of spirits, there lived a people who built their homes among red stone cliffs beneath the watching sun. They painted their stories upon canyon walls and carried prayers in little pouches of sage and cedar ash. Every child learned the old songs. Every hunter learned the old ways, and every child, before they were old enough to carry water or gather wood, was taught to fear the Sky People. The Sky People lived far beyond the western canyons, where the cliffs rose like broken teeth against the horizon. Few had seen them with their own eyes. Most only knew the stories. The stories said their women were born with wings, not feathered wings like hawks or eagles. No, their wings were thin and shimmering, like sunlight through dragonfly glass. In daylight, they glowed with colors hidden inside rainwater. At night, they reflected moonlight like silver smoke. The Sky Women could fly, not high like eagles crossing mountains, but lightly and silently upon the wind. They could leap from cliff edges and drift over rivers. They could dance among treetops during storms. Some stories even claimed they could carry messages to the spirits above the clouds. Because of this, the other tribes feared them. Many called them cursed. Others called them demons wearing human faces. The elders warned children never to travel west alone. The Sky People steal hearts, they would whisper beside the fire. And once your heart belongs to them, the earth itself no longer knows your footsteps. Among the people there lived a young hunter named Kiona. Kiona was not yet a full man, though he stood taller than many warriors and could already strike rabbits at great distance with his sling. His father was a respected hunter whose spear had brought down elk and mountain lions. His mother wove beautiful blankets dyed in desert reds and storm cloud blues. But Kiona was different from many young hunters. He asked too many questions. When elders spoke of the Sky People with hatred, he wondered why no one spoke of meeting them peacefully. When old men claimed the winged women drank moonlight and cursed unborn children, Kiona noticed that none of them had ever actually seen such things. And when the others laughed at stories of women flying beneath the stars, something inside him felt sadness instead of fear. The old medicine keeper, an elderly woman named Singing Reed, once told him, "The world grows dangerous when people fear what they do not understand." Those words remained inside him. One summer morning, when heat shimmered across the earth and cicadas screamed from the cottonwoods, Kiona left camp to hunt rabbits in the western grasslands. His father had warned him not to wander too close to the forbidden canyons. "Stay east of the split cliffs," he had said sternly. "The western winds carry bad spirits." Kiona nodded politely, then ignored him entirely. The rabbits had grown scarce near camp, and besides, curiosity pulled at him stronger than fear ever could. The western land was beautiful in a lonely way. Tall golden grass bent beneath warm winds. Lizards darted over sunlit rocks. Ancient juniper trees twisted from the earth like old hands reaching toward the sky. By midday, Kiona had caught 3 rabbits and filled his water skin from a narrow stream hidden among stones. That was when he heard singing. He froze immediately. The voice drifted softly through the canyon ahead. A woman's voice, not chanting, not ceremonial singing, just singing, gentle and sad. Kiona crept carefully through the rocks until he reached the edge of a narrow ravine, and there he saw her. At first he thought sunlight itself had taken human shape. A young woman stood barefoot in the shallow stream below. Her long dark hair moved in the breeze like flowing water. Small beads and polished shells hung from leather cords around her wrists, and behind her, wings. Beautiful translucent wings shimmered from her back, catching the sunlight in colors too delicate to name. Kiona forgot how to breathe. The stories had lied. No demon could look so alive. The young woman knelt beside the water, gathering herbs into a woven basket. She hummed softly to herself, unaware she was being watched. Then suddenly she looked up. Their eyes met. For one terrible moment, neither moved. Kiona expected screaming, or curses, or magic. Instead, the young woman simply stared at him with wide, frightened eyes. Then she bolted. Her wings opened in a flash of silver light. Kiona stumbled backward in shock as she leapt into the air. She did not soar high like an eagle. Rather, she glided gracefully from stone to stone, carried by hidden currents of wind. Kiona ran after her instinctively. "Wait!" The girl glanced behind her. Fear still filled her face. Kiona raised both hands. "I will not harm you." She disappeared beyond the canyon ridge. Kiona stood alone, breathing hard beneath the blazing sun. Yet something inside him had already changed forever. That night he barely slept. The image of the winged girl returned again and again behind his eyes. Her voice, her wings, the fear in her expression. He realized with painful clarity that the stories had frightened her people just as much as they had frightened his own. The next morning he returned to the canyon, and the morning after that. For 3 days he found nothing. No footprints, no singing, no sign she had ever existed at all. Then, on the 4th evening, as the sun painted the cliffs red with dying light, he heard her voice again. This time, she stood atop a boulder overlooking the stream. The wind carried strands of dark hair across her face. "You should not come here," she called cautiously. Kiona's heart pounded. "You spoke my language. All tribes speak some of the same words." Her wings folded nervously behind her. Kiona took a slow step forward. "My name is Kiona." The girl hesitated, then quietly replied, "Ayana." For a long time, they simply stared at one another. "You are not a demon," Kiona finally said. Ayana laughed softly, though sadness hid beneath it. "That is disappointing. I was told your people all had horns." Kiona laughed despite himself. The sound startled them both, and that was how it began. After that day, they met in secret beside the canyon stream. At first, they spoke cautiously. Ayana told him of her people hidden deep within western cliffs, where rope bridges connected stone homes high above the ground. She spoke of children learning to glide before they learned to weave baskets. She described moon festivals where hundreds of winged dancers leapt from canyon ledges carrying lanterns into the night sky. Kiona listened in amazement. In return, he told her of desert hunts, sacred dances, and the stories painted upon cave walls by his ancestors. Each meeting lasted longer than the one before. Soon they waited desperately for each sunrise. Summer deepened. Monsoon storms rolled across the mesas, bringing cool rain and towering clouds. Sometimes Kiona and Ayana sheltered together beneath cliff overhangs while lightning flashed across the heavens. During one storm, Ayana finally asked the question that had haunted her. "Why do your people hate us?" Kiona looked down sadly. "They fear what they do not understand." Ayana touched the edge of one wing thoughtfully. "My grandmother says fear becomes easier to inherit than kindness." Kiona never forgot those words. As weeks passed, their affection deepened into something far greater. Kiona began bringing her gifts: rabbit fur gloves for cold nights, polished stones from sacred riverbeds, necklaces woven from bright feathers. Ayana crafted gifts for him as well: tiny wind chimes made from hollow reeds, bracelets threaded with silver insect wings. Once she even brought him a feather from a sky eagle, considered sacred among her people. One evening beneath a rising moon, Kiona finally asked, "May I touch your wings?" Ayana looked embarrassed. "They are sensitive. I will be gentle." Slowly she turned around. The wings shimmered pale blue beneath moonlight. Kiona reached out carefully. His fingers brushed the delicate surface. Warm, soft, alive. Ayana shivered, then laughed nervously. "That tickles." From that moment onward, the space between them vanished entirely. They held hands while walking beside the stream. They rested together beneath cottonwoods, listening to cicadas sing. Sometimes Ayana carried him short distances, gliding from low cliffs, while he clung to her waist, laughing in terror. For the first time in his life, Kiona felt truly understood. But love hidden from the world grows heavy with fear. Soon whispers began spreading within both tribes. Hunters noticed Kiona disappearing daily toward forbidden lands. Meanwhile, Ayana's older brother claimed he smelled Earth Tribe smoke upon her clothing. One evening, Ayana arrived trembling. "My father suspects something." Kiona's stomach tightened. "So does mine." Silence settled between them. The canyon stream murmured softly nearby. Finally, Ayana whispered, "What if we leave?" Kiona looked up sharply. "My people would hunt us. So would mine." Yet despite the danger, hope flickered between them. Far north beyond the mountains lived scattered tribes who cared little for old hatred. Perhaps there they could live peacefully. Together, the dream grew inside them like fire. Several days later, they found the elder tree. It stood alone atop a hidden plateau where flowers bloomed year-round around natural springs. The tree was ancient beyond memory, its massive roots twisting through stone like the bones of the earth itself. Ayana smiled softly when she saw it. "In my tribe," she said, "lovers promise themselves beneath sacred trees." Kiona touched the rough bark reverently. Then let this be our place. They began meeting there each sunset. Together they braided cords of leather and silver grass for a marriage binding. Ayana promised to leave her people. Kiona promised to leave his. Neither hesitated. At last the night arrived. Moonlight silvered the plateau. Warm wind carried the scent of desert flowers. Ayana wore a dress woven from pale blue cloth that shimmered like water. Tiny beads decorated her wings, glowing softly beneath the stars. Kiona wore ceremonial paint across his chest and carried a necklace made from sacred turquoise stones belonging to his family for generations. They stood beneath the elder tree holding hands. Ayana smiled through tears. We found each other in a world that wished us apart. Kiona pressed his forehead gently against hers. Then we will build another world. But before the binding ceremony could begin, voices erupted across the plateau. Torches flared among the rocks. Hunters emerged from every direction. Kiona's tribe, dozens of them. His father stood at the front, face twisted with rage and grief. Behind him, elders clutched protective charms against evil. Someone screamed, "She has bewitched him." Panic exploded. Ayana's wings spread instinctively. Kiona stepped before her. No, but fear had already poisoned reason. A spear flew through the darkness. Kiona turned too late. The obsidian point struck Ayana deep beneath her ribs. Her breath caught sharply. The world went silent. Kiona stared in horror as blood spread across her pale blue dress. Ayana collapsed into his arms. The hunters froze. Perhaps even they had not expected bloodshed. Kiona fell to his knees, holding her desperately. No, no, no. Ayana touched his face weakly. Moonlight reflected in her tear-filled eyes. "I did not regret meeting you," she whispered. Kiona sobbed openly. "Stay with me," but her breathing grew shallow. Her wings trembled once, then slowly became still. A terrible sound rose from Kiona's throat. Not a scream, not human grief alone. Something older, something broken beyond repair. The wind began howling across the plateau. Torches flickered violently. The elder tree groaned as though the earth itself mourned. Kiona gently laid Ayana's body beneath the roots. Then he rose slowly to his feet. Every hunter stepped backward. Even his father looked afraid. Kiona's face was streaked with tears and blood. "You feared her wings," he said quietly. "You called her cursed." The wind intensified. Clouds swallowed the moon. "But it is your hearts that carry the curse." Lightning flashed overhead. Singing Reed, who had followed the hunters in secret, suddenly cried out, "Stop him!" But it was too late. Kiona drew an obsidian knife from his belt. Then he turned toward the elder tree. Among his people, there existed an ancient forbidden sacrifice, a blood offering powerful enough to bind a dying soul to the spirits forever. Kiona pressed the blade against his chest. His father shouted desperately, "Son, don't." "I loved her," Kiona whispered. Then he drove the blade into his own heart. Thunder exploded across the sky. The elder tree burst with blinding silver light. Wind screamed through the canyon. Hunters fell to the ground, shielding their eyes as glowing feathers spiraled through the storm like burning snow. And from somewhere, high above the clouds, came the sound of wings. When dawn finally arrived, both Kiona and Ayana were gone. Only silver feathers remained scattered beneath the tree. After that night, misfortune followed the tribe. Crops failed. Children woke screaming from dreams of falling skies. Hunters became lost in familiar canyons. Then, many months later, the first child was born. A girl, and from her back emerged tiny shimmering wings. Panic swept through the tribe. Some called it punishment, others called it contamination. But more daughters were born. Then more, generation after generation. Every female child entered the world carrying delicate, translucent wings. The curse could not be stopped. At first, the tribe tried hiding the girls, then cutting the wings, then praying for forgiveness. Nothing changed. Eventually, the people understood. Kiona had forced them to become the very thing they once hated. And with time, something unexpected happened. Fear began fading. The winged daughters laughed, played, loved. They were not demons. They were simply people. The old hatred slowly crumbled beneath generations of understanding, and elders eventually taught children a different story. Not a warning, not a tale of monsters, but a sorrowful legend about love stronger than fear. Even now, it is said that during certain nights when the moon hangs low above the western cliffs, two figures can sometimes be seen gliding together upon the wind. a young man without wings, and a young woman shining silver beneath the stars. They circle the elder tree hand in hand before vanishing into the night sky together at last.